Alright, I lied. That wasn't our last race. We are going to Clay City this weekend for the Bluegrass Nationals. Clay City is a track I've wanted to go to for a very long time. If you watched the videos earlier in the season, we tried to go to Clay City like 4 times, and it rained out every single time. A couple of times we actually made the trip down. The other 2 times we got prepared and ready to go, and they canceled early enough that we didn't actually have to make the 4-hour drive down there, which was nice. But yeah, 5th time's the charm, hopefully. The weather's not looking too bad. Probably going to be a little chilly since it's, the end of October. But no rain, so 5th time is the charm. We're going to attempt to go down to Clay City again. The Bluegrass Nationals is a race that's been on my bucket list for a very, very, very long time. As a kid growing up in Southern Ohio and racing at Wheelersburg all the time, a lot of the Wheelersburg locals would go down there and run that Bluegrass Nationals and run at Clay City every now and then. I always wanted to go. And, Gramsby and Gramps not really wanting to travel and race other places, we never got to go. For the first 8 years we raced at Wheelersburg and Wheelersburg only, despite Clay City actually not being that far of a drive. So, 20 some years later or whatever it is, I'm finally doing it. I'm finally making it to Clay City. I'm finally making it to the Bluegrass Nationals and checking that one off my list. I know now that maybe the Clay City and that race in general maybe isn't as big and as prestigious as it once was back in the day, but in my mind it still is, and I'm happy that I'm finally getting to go there. And the month of money continues. I guess that's what I'm calling it. Starting way back at Cridersville with that 1,000 to win LO206. Basically every week we've been racing for $1,000 or more, so that's going to continue this week. Clone Medium's 1,500 to win. That's what I'm going to run. See how we do. As always, going down to Kentucky and running these bigger high-paying shows, the competition is super, super stiff. So the goal, as always, is just to try and make it into the show and qualify into the A-main. Even if that's 16th out of 16, that's the goal, is to make it in. We did pretty good last week. I think here recently in this month-long stretch that we've been doing, I think we've had good speed, maybe not the best luck, but we've had some good speed. So I think that's good. That's something to build on, making me feel a little confident, even though I know it's still going to be tough. It's always going to be tough, but is what it is. I lied to you last week. That wasn't our last race. This will be our last race for sure. We have nothing else after this one. So yeah, Clay City, Bluegrass Nationals. Going to try and make the show. If not, kind of expected that, but going to try and make the show. And I'm going to get to work.
What? That's not Smart TV.
It's not?
No, because there's no buttons on this.
Oh, it's on now.
No.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Nothing smart about this thing.
Reset the thingamajig.
Not the Bill Horse, right?
So can I refuse to be shown up by someone who's afraid of a vacuum?
Huh?
It's fine, I'll just sit in the quiet. And I took
Just to his voice.
I was trying to say shit in here talking, but sitting here. I was trying to say sitting here talking, but all these words got messed up.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Shit.
I started laughing, and then that's what got my reputation as the guy who laughs during all the sketches. But that was great. Debbie Towner, I was part of that.
Great.
I can't quite
Now we don't have a wrench.
really saw it on that until the way end. And we all broke the scene for Emerson's in the scene. The next day in the New York Post, they put a picture of us.
Oh, they're
And
both
Fred
gone.
was the only one laughing in the photo.
There's a wrench over there under that bag.
Keep it together, but yeah.
What are you open there? Don't hit the camera.
I found them. That thing hurts. I ran into it. You broke your ankle? last night didn't go as good as last week. Last week I wasn't very good, but I got lucky. This week was neither. I wasn't very good or very lucky. You'll have that. We missed it. I know where we messed up. We prepped a little too hard for qualifying and then overcompensated by not really prepping enough for the feature, and I was just kind of sliding all over the place and just couldn't get a handle on it. And obviously the track was super rough, but that didn't really help. But that's also not an excuse. We just missed it all day. We were pretty good in hot laps, And then we prepped the same for qualifying as we did in hot laps, but the track dried out real quick. I mean, honestly, like partway through like my classes, like qualifying session, it got really dry and black, and it was too late. So we prepped too hard for qualifying and overcompensated by not prepping enough for the feature. So sucks. But that's a track and a race that I've always wanted to go to, so I'm glad that I can finally check that off my list. And you know, all those years of racing at Wheelersburg and, you know, running purple plate and blue plate and hearing all my friends how they went down, you know, how they went down to Clay City and ran the Bluegrass Nationals, I can finally say I did it too, even if it wasn't that good of a night for us. But, you know, we started 14th and I made a couple passes and finished 11th, so it wasn't like the worst night ever, but obviously not the best. The track was pretty rough, pretty dry. Just the roughness though isn't crazy. It was just like shaking your teeth out. You know, I've ran a lot of races in my days, and I think this is the first time that after a race, every single driver in the class at the scales just kind of like stood there for a couple minutes and like caught their breath and like calmed down and just tried to like breathe, because it was rough, man. It was just hard to hang on. But it is what it is. We missed it in the feature. We missed it in qualifying. We missed it all night. So, you know, no excuses there. It's kind of like a running theme with this year. So, you know, we've tried to travel around. We've raced at, you know, Cridersville and Cridersville only for so long. We definitely fell behind. And my whole goal this year was to try to get out and go to these places and try and pick back up and figure out what people were doing and relearn. And we have, but we haven't, because we're still not really getting good at the end of the night. Like, we went to Ben-Hur that second time, and I was really good in that heat race, but kind of fell off in the feature. And we ran 5th, but it wasn't like a strong 5th, you know what I mean? And then same thing at like the farm track or Buffalo or even J&M. Like, we started out really good early at J&M, but in the feature it was just kind of not there. So we got to figure out how to be better at the end of the night. And, you know, that's part of the learning experience and trying to get back out there and racing again and not, you know, just week in and week out at Cridersville. So hopefully next year we can do some more traveling like this and try and figure out how to be fast at the end of the night, because that's something we struggled with, you know, no matter what. It didn't matter if the track was dry and grippy or dry and slick or wet and tacky or rough or whatever. We always just miss it at the end of the night. It's like we start off a little too good and just don't keep up with it. So we got to get better at reading the track and adjusting throughout the night and staying good all night and not starting good and getting bad. So just another thing we got to work on, I guess. But overall, I think this year was really good. I'm very happy with it. You know, the last year was an absolute disaster. This year was way better, even though I feel like I probably got my ass kicked a little more. We weren't getting our ass kicked at Cridersville. We were going down south. We were going to Kentucky and Tennessee and, you know, going to these bigger paying races that were 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 5,000 to win. And, you know, sometimes qualifying in and making the show and running in the back and sometimes not. But, you know, that's part of it. And I think, you know, being able to qualify into some of these races and move forward is a huge step up from where we were last year. Because last year, if we had come to these races, we wouldn't have ever even qualified for any of the features at all. It's just all there is to it. So, you know, I think getting out and traveling a little more and getting away from Cridersville really helped us step up our game. And there's some changes I want to make for next year to try and step up our game a little more and get even better and back to where we can win at Cridersville like we used to be able to win at Cridersville. So we'll see. You know, it's a long winter. This, just so you know, this was my last race for the year. You know, we don't have anything else scheduled. Liberty's not really happening. You know, we don't have anything planned for this winter. So time to get ready for next year. Hopefully we can step up our game again and get to winning at Cridersville like we used to. I have some ideas on what I want to do. I need to talk through them with Graham, see what he says, see what he thinks. But I have some ideas and some things I want to do for next year, and we'll see how it goes, because I think this year was a step up, and I'd like to step it up again. You know, we only won 3 times, I think, this year at Cridersville, and I try and get back to winning all the time there like we used to. And I think some of this traveling around has helped that, because there is definitely some tips and tricks we picked up on that people were doing that we had no idea was going on, because we were just stuck there and there only for so long. So all in all, I think it's a good year. I had a lot more fun. Last year, I just wanted the season to be over. We had like 4 races left, and I didn't look at it as only 4 races. I looked at it as like a month of racing, and I just was so tired of going to Cridersville every week and all the drama and the BS, and I just wanted the season to be over. And this year wasn't that case. I've been trying to stretch it out for as long as I can and keep racing and keep going, because I didn't want it to be over, because I was having fun again. I was enjoying racing. I was wanting to be there. I was, you know, motivated and just really wanting to go and like having fun racing again. So, you know, I was trying to stretch this season out as long as I could, where last year I wanted it to be over in mid-July. So I think that's good. Hopefully next year will be kind of the same, where I actually have fun all season again and I want it to keep going and I don't want it to stop. But yeah, that's that. Overall, not the best night, not the worst night. I've definitely had worse nights, so I'd call it just kind of okay in the middle, I guess. Maybe more towards the bottom of the middle, but glad we went. Kart's in one piece. The GoPro is not, you know, it fell off a couple times, but the kart itself, which is what's important, is in one piece. I think we had a good year. I think we made big strides and improved a ton. Hopefully we can keep improving and getting better for next year. Hopefully we can win a little more at Kreidersville like we used to do. You know, we used to have 10+ win seasons at Kreidersville, and now we only got 3. So hopefully we get that up to maybe 5 or 6 wins or something like that. You know, baby steps. But that is what it is. Like I said, I have no plans for this winter, so I don't know when the next video will be or what it'll be. So if that's the case, I'll see you all next season. And I hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope you enjoyed watching along and seeing how we do, and, you know, watching me get my butt kicked, you know, in the good nights and the bad nights and everything in between. And I will see you next year. I also want to add this. I want to say thanks to a few people that helped out basically all year. Obviously Kirk and Gramps, those two deal with me week in and week out, and I'm sure that I can be a lot to deal with, especially whenever I throw my fits and get mad and have my temper tantrums. You know, those two, you know, Kirk deals with all my shit and Gramps deals with all my shit, and they deal with each other's shit. So, you know, we're maybe a little bit of a dysfunctional team, but without those two, I wouldn't make it around the track. So, you know, huge thanks to huge thanks to Kirk and Gramps. You know, it wouldn't make it around the track without those two. Also, Dan the Man, Dan Lambert. I wouldn't run the yellow 206 at all if it wasn't for him. The gears there, or mini gear system, all of those came from Dan. Basically outside of Overdrive Designs, which is Kirk, Dan is my biggest and best sponsor, followed by Overdrive Designs, which is obviously Kirk. She's bought tires, she's bought prep, she's paid for oil, the engine rebuild on the flathead all came, you know, that was all hers. So once again, double thanks to Kirk. Overdrive Designs, she's really the unsung hero of all this. So, you know, Gramps, Kirk, Dan the Man, and then the people that have helped out at these tracks that we haven't been to before. Jamie Dunn helped out a ton at Liberty last year and the farm track and Buffalo and places like that where he races a lot. So big thanks to Jamie Dunn for helping me out at those places. And then Chase Cottle, Kyle Brummett. I talk to Kyle basically every week, and he tries to give me a little, you know, tips and tricks here and there. And, you know, Chase at Eldora was a huge help. And then even this last week at Clay City and J&M and the farm track, you know, Chase has helped me out a ton. Kyle's helped me out a ton. So, you know, without all those people, you know, I don't think the year would have been as good as it actually was. So big thanks to all them, you know, Gramps, Kirk, Dan, Kyle, Chase, Jamie, you know, they all helped in some way, whether it was telling me what I needed to do, telling me when I'm being stupid, or just like a sponsorship in general. You know, the gears came from Dan, Kirk's bought tires, so it all helps, and all helps me get around the track. So big thanks to all of those guys. You know, the year wouldn't have been what it was without them.
Yeah. I might just make it on the YouTube channel.